Hey guys, welcome back. So this is part one of our story on too many carrots. So we're going to go over a little bit of how you can use the project core board that we've been talking about and that most of my students should have at home to use with the book to work on their receptive and expressive language. And then for some of my other students, I got this from the Type B SLP on Teachers Pay Teachers. She has some really awesome stuff. This specifically is a resource that you don't have to print, which right now a lot of us don't have printers, so that's awesome. So you can go in and it has a lot of Common Core standard stuff. It has vocabulary, WH questions, basic concepts, grammar, categories, compare and contrast, sequencing, extension activities, and Common Core standards. So that's something that I use a lot when I use this book. But it has to be purchased to be used with it, but it is well worth it. So Too Many Carrots is a book about a bunny who has, you guessed it, too many carrots. So even just looking at the title and then looking at the board, you can think about, okay, what words would I even consider using with this book? And from too many, you're probably going to guess that more is going to be a word you're probably going to be using. You know we're doing a book, so you can always use go, look, and turn. And so then we always talk, you can always start your book with let's open up the book. It's a great way to get the student to request if it's something they're really interested in. Maybe they really like books. So you could have them say, okay, what do we want to do? What do you want to do? So asking them what they want to do and giving them choices is a great way to elicit spontaneous language, because part of the problem is when they have any form of augmentative or alternative communication, a lot of times we want them to say what we want to say. We kind of require that communication, and we shouldn't be making them say anything. It is their communication, and we are simply there to support it, model it, attribute meaning, and encourage them to communicate, but we're not forcing them to communicate. So if books are something they're really motivated by, it's really great to be able to be like, okay, do you want to do a book? Or maybe do you want to do a worksheet? Or do you want to do a book versus do you want to watch a video? Giving them those options is a great way to work in some language. So when you open up the book, you can always talk about the cover too. For our higher level students, you might want to talk about predicting what they think the story might be about by looking at the pictures and, reading what's on the title and thinking, okay, what do we think the main idea of this story might be? This is also a great book to use with students working on social goals, as it is talking about a carrot or a rabbit and his friends. And even on our first page, it talks about rabbit loved carrots. Great place to use like. He likes those carrots a lot. And then he collected them wherever he went. He got them everywhere he went. So you could do he got go. It's okay that maybe it's not the exact word. I know it seems really unnatural to say stuff like that, but really we're teaching them the syntax, what word order, and even some synonyms, because, he collected, he got them, or, wherever he went means he had to go somewhere. So looking at that, and you can even talk about the picture. So when you look at the picture, it says no trespassing, and it has a sign really similar to not. So you could ask them questions like, why do you think this sign is here? Or what do you think this sign means? And you could say that it means he is not supposed to go there. And then we could talk about why. Why is he not supposed to be there? What do bunnies do with carrots? They eat them. And you can also ask them, Most of our kids probably don't love vegetables, but talk to them about it. Do you like carrots? Why not? What about them don't you like? Those are all great ways to add in different language concepts into reading your book. And like I said, we can always create that routine. Okay, now we're going to turn the page and we're going to look at some more. And you can look at the next page. Rabbit was proud of his collection and burrowed it away in his cozy hole. So he was very proud of his collection, something he really liked, and he burrowed it away in his hole. Where did he put his carrots? Where did he put them? In. He put them in his hole. He put them in it. You can always find different ways and to work in our core words. And for our students that are verbal, might be working on some different ideas or different concepts as you go through this book. So the first thing he did was he got carrots out of the garden. Then he put them in his hole. So you could work on sequencing. What did he do first? What did he do next? What did he do then? What did he do last? It's a great way to work on vocabulary. You have words like collection and burrowed, and this is a great way to teach them. So you look at this picture and you look at the next picture. What does burrowed mean? He burrowed them away. And so trying to work with them on how to use pictures and how to use those clues that are given in the book, or maybe even in the sentence of what those words mean. Or writing down the words as you're going through the book. Hey, you know what? I don't know what that means. That's okay. Maybe that's something we'll look up after. Teaching them to use the dictionary is a really great skill. And we'll go through one more page. He could not sleep. His cozy hole was too crowded to live in. So he could not sleep. And why could he not sleep? Because his hole was too crowded to live in. He had more stuff in there. So he could not sleep. So that's already got a great way to work in a why question. Where did he sleep? And it has the clue right there for the name of what it is. You can even use what does he sleep on? You can talk about how we sleep differently than animals, or what's the same about us and the animals. There are a lot of different targets you can be using, and the more you do it, the more you're going to have these ideas that are going to pop up. There is no right or wrong way. Just getting them that exposure and kind of working with them will really help with those concepts. And then maybe later in the week, you use it with something else and you're like, oh, wow, I remember that from when we did that book. And so for those of you that are on my Google Classroom, we might use some of this, some of these different topics and some of these different things. I'm not going to show you a lot about it because I did not create this. And she does have, the Type B SLP has a copyright for this. But she has the same question words that we've been talking about. And if you go in, it has who is the story mostly about, and it'll have pictures. And a lot of her resources are out of 3, which is really great for our students specifically because the testing that they get, at least here in Florida, is out of a field of 3. So it's okay to go back through the book with them while they're doing the questions. It's okay to say, oh, okay, so I'm going to go back through this and we're going to find it together and then answer the question. But ask the question first. You can give them visual supports. You can give them a verbal support. You could say, okay, who is this story mostly about? There's your visual, so they know they're looking for a person, or in this case, an animal. And if they are still having trouble, oh, they don't know who the story is about. Okay, well, let's look back at our book. Let's look at the first page. Do you see any clues as to who the story might be about? Is it about a person or an animal? Oh, okay, it's about an animal. What animal do you see? Oh, you see a rabbit, that's right. So let's see, do we think the story is about a rabbit? Of course. So just kind of giving them those clues. Don't give them too many all at once. Give them that pause and that wait time to respond. They will surprise you all the time on how amazing they are and how much they can do. So give them one clue at a time. Some students are going to respond better to visuals versus verbal. It just depends on the student, but it's a great place to start. So this was our part 1 video. This is giving clues on how to use the book and different ideas for you. And part 2 has the book read aloud so that you guys can use it at home. Hope this helps.